to Calvary. Lest I forget how you prayed on Gethsemane in the garden. And lest I forget how you suffered your agony on Calvary.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is an excellent day to serve an excellent God in and with the spirit of excellence. Good morning. Good morning. I am Chaplain Sherry, Coach Sherry. I am your community pastor, Sherry. I am Sherry from the 800 block of Mooney Avenue. And this is the 15th day. The 15th day of our 40-day journey to the cross. We are headed somewhere. On this journey, we are walking with Jesus as he is experiencing rejection. He is experiencing grief, isolation, abandonment, all of those things as he is headed to death. Jesus is headed to a lynching. He's headed to an execution. He is headed to murder. And on our journey, as we consider, reflect, meditate, and observe these things, we also see Jesus knowing how to be in the moment, even though he knows what's to come. He knows how to experience what is, even though he knows what's to come. Good morning. Good morning, Sharon. Today is our 15th day of Lent. I invite you as you're coming in to like, share, tag. Let's move this message around in our circles, our cliques, and our crews. Let's move it around because we don't want to keep it to ourselves. On this 15th day of Lent, good morning, Miss Constant. Good morning, missionary. So glad to see you today. We are walking with Jesus as he is entering Jerusalem. And there's this large parade, there's this crowds of people, some shouting Hosanna, Hosanna, some celebrating him. But in a matter of minutes, all within that same time, they will eventually say, crucify him. Crucify him. Good morning, Felicia. So glad to see you. On this 15th day of Lent, we are fasting from spiritual self-protection. Spiritual self-protection. So, Pastor Sherry, what is this? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Jesus takes in the celebration. He when the people told him to quieten them down, Jesus says, well, if they shut down, if they close their mouths, it's not going to stop the praise of me, because there is the rocks will cry out for me. So Jesus doesn't dismiss the praise. He doesn't insulate himself. He doesn't shut the parade down, even though he knows that the parade, the celebration, will end in crucifixion. He sits in the moment of the celebration. He doesn't protect himself from the celebration because he knows there's going to be a crucifixion. So, Sherry, what is spiritual self-protection? There's healthy self-protection, right? So when we know that there is a stop sign there, we would do right to protect ourselves from going through the stop sign. But when it becomes a problem is when we become stuck at the stop sign because of fear of what may happen if we go through. Another way of looking at this is that there's this thing about a high emotional IQ, that we are able to keep our emotions in check in trying circumstances. One time I took the emotional intelligence IQ test, and Pastor Donna, I didn't do so well then. I didn't do so well then because my emotions were raging according to the circumstances. And you often take these kinds of tests when you are in leadership because they want to know, can you handle the moment? Can you handle the moment? Jesus shows us what it means to be where you are while you're there. To don't miss the celebration, don't miss the joy, because you know that in a matter of seconds it could change. Be in the moment. Is that making sense? Is that making sense to us this morning? To be in the moment. To don't miss the celebration. Don't miss being where we are because we know what's ahead. Do you know that Jesus knew that Peter was going to deny him? Do you know that? Do you know that Jesus knew that Judas would betray him? Yet Jesus still had Judas at the table. Peter was still there even when Jesus called it out. He did not dismiss them. He did not miss breaking bread with them, even though he knew what they were about or what they were going to do. Today we are fasting from protecting ourselves, protecting our hearts. Because we know that there are those around us have the propensity to hurt us. is spiritual self-protection. And so there are times when we even spiritually protect ourselves from God. Well, what do you mean, Sherry? What do you mean? Now you're going too far. Here's what I mean. There are times when we keep a wedge, a distance between us and God because God has not come through in the ways that we think God needs to come through, or we want God to come through for us. So we keep a distance so we're not hurt anymore by high expectations. When our hopes when we let down our guards and we are waiting on God in open expectations and God doesn't come through. So the next time, to keep from being hurt, we don't even put ourselves in that situation. We protect ourselves in relationships. In other words, I'll tell you about me. If I sense that something is off, or I feel that you're about to get me, there have been times that I'm going to get you before you get me, so I'm not going to be the one with the crushed dreams. That I'm not going to be the one with the hurt heart. But I'm also wondering if I move too fast based upon what I expected to come, that I miss the joys of the present because I could see what was coming. Now, I'm not talking about an abusive situation, but dismissing a person or a situation because of what might happen. Is this making sense? Because I'm trying to watch what's going on and I don't see no movement in these comment sections. Maybe it's just me. Spiritual leaders in our lives have abused power. Prayer requests have gone unanswered. Dreams have died. Others experience greater results for the same spiritual efforts. But for us, when we step out, it seems that it backfired. And so we maintain a polite distance from deeper levels of intimacy with God. We sing this song, well, whatever you're doing in this season, don't do it without me. But yet it appears that God is moving all around you, all around me, and none of the raindrops are falling on us. And so we say, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just not going to put myself in that position to hurt like that. I won't even have an expectation. I'll just get out of the way. Yet Jesus shows us that even though he understood that it is among this crowd that is lined up along Jerusalem, along the road, that their cries of celebration will end in shouts of crucifixion. Yet, he said in the moment, he didn't miss the celebration. He was fully present in the celebration as he anticipated the crucifixion. So on this 15th day of Lent, please understand that even with all of our inconsistencies, that God does not shrink back from us, even though we may shrink back from God, even though we will put this hardness around our hearts, God still remains present. And that's what I think that this form of fast is teaching us, to be in the present. Miss Constance, you understand about being fully present, right? That's what, as helpers, as social workers, as chaplains, we have to be in the moment, being fully present for the person that we are in front of. In other words, we can't allow our minds to go to the next, because we need to be fully present to give this person, this moment, our undivided attention. My pastor, Dr. Joyce Green, would always tell us, be where you are while you are there. Be in the moment. And I add to that, because when you are no longer there, then you become, when you move from that place, then you are in another place and be there. Perhaps that's why Jesus says, take no thought of tomorrow, because it has its own set of problems. Here's what I want you to think about. Actions reveal beliefs, because beliefs inspire actions. Consider Jesus' choice at the triumphant entry, knowing all that was to come. What must Jesus have believed? What is it that Jesus had? Why was his emotional intelligence quotient so high? What did Jesus have in order to stay present to the party? He did not leave the party because he knew what was to come. He didn't say, I'm getting out of here because these Negroes don't mean me no good, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going on my way, because I don't need to be in here with two-faced people, with hypocritical people. I'm going to get out of the way. No. He embraced the celebratory moment, even though he knew that it would lead to crucifixion. I invite you to join me today in fasting from spiritual self-protection. Be in the moment. May all be well with your day.